On August 8th, Union Minister Kiran Rijiju introduced the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 in the Lok Sabha, proposing that the bill be referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee. As the government seeks to amend the Waqf Act of 1995 and repeal the Musalman Waqf Act, here is a comprehensive look at the history and significance of Waqf. Waqf is a crucial aspect of Islamic jurisprudence, though the term Waqf does not appear in the Quran. The concept originated from the teachings and practices of the Prophet Muhammad. When Omar sought guidance from the Prophet about the charitable use of a piece of land called Saman in Khaybar, the Prophet advised him to dedicate the property's profits for human welfare without selling, gifting, or bequeathing it. Following this, the Prophet set aside a piece of land in Khaybar for travelers, and Abu Bakr established a Waqf for his children. According to the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, a Waqf involves tying up property in the ownership of God, the Almighty, and dedicating the profits for the benefit of humanity. The concept of Waqf entered India with the advent of Islamic rule, becoming centralized during the Delhi Sultanate when Sultan Muizuddin Samghar dedicated 2 villages to the Jama Masjid of Multan. Waqf institutions became integral to the development of Islamic scholarship and education in pre-British India and played a role in conversion and cultural appropriation. Initially, the British refrained from interfering with Hindu and Muslim endowments. The Bengal Code Regulation 19 of 1810 and Madras Code Regulation of 7 1817 aimed to manage rents for the upkeep of religious and public buildings, allowing the British government to oversee religious trusts. However, by 1839, Christian missionaries' objections led the British to reduce control, resulting in mismanagement of funds. The Religious Endowment Act of 1863 introduced local committee management with court oversight, followed by the Charitable Endowments Act of 1890 and the Charitable and Religious Trusts Act of 1920, which provided more stringent control. A landmark decision in 1894 in the case of Abdul Fattah Muhammad Ishki was a Rusome ruled that a Waqf primarily benefiting the family was invalid unless dedicated to charity. This judgment led to the Musalman Waqf Validating Act of 1913, which reversed it. Despite further legislation such as the Bengal Waqf Act and Bihar Waqf Act, mismanagement persisted, highlighting the need for dedicated laws to manage Muslim endowments. After India's independence in 1947, the Musalman Waqf Act of 1923 governed Waqf properties. In 1954, the Congress government introduced the Waqf Act, centralizing the admission of these properties and establishing Waqf boards with significant powers, raising concerns about potential appeasement. The 1954 Act led to the repeal of several pre-independence laws and significantly changed Waqf property administration. In 1984, the Waqf Inquiry Committee's report resulted in the Waqf Amendment Act, which sought to restructure Waqf administration but faced opposition from the Muslim community. The Waqf Act of 1995 consolidated and amended previous laws, but the Muslim community's resistance led to the formation of a joint parliamentary committee to recommend improvements. Based on the JPC's suggestions, the Waqf Amendment Act of 2013 was enacted, further empowering Waqf boards. India's Waqf Act of 1995 grants extensive power to the Waqf Board, differing from Waqf administration in other Muslim-majority countries. Countries like Turkey, Kuwait, and Syria have centralized systems focusing on transparency, efficiency, and modernization. In contrast, India's decentralized system leads to variations in management and effectiveness across states. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 proposed changes. The Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 introduces significant changes, including restricting Waqf contributions to practicing Muslims and revising the definition of Waqf to require 5 years of Islamic practice. It also addresses the maintenance of women heirs and widows, introduces a collector's role, and proposes stricter measures to prevent misappropriation of government land. The amendment also abolishes Section 40, which allowed the Waqf Board to investigate potential Waqf properties and mandates the appointment of 2 non-Muslim members to the Waqf Board. Additionally, the bill prohibits the creation of Waqf without a deed, requiring the collector to verify the genuineness of applications. These changes aim to modernize and regulate Waqf management, addressing long-standing issues while balancing religious and legal considerations.